Hey there folks, long time no see. Welcome to a game called Space Haven. This is a game I've been enjoying a lot. It's like the beautiful offspring of the game FTL mixed in with a little bit of Rimworld. The game is a roguelike where you build a ship, manage a crew, and try to get to a destination while finding the story in the process. This game is still in beta, and even so, it's far more complete than some games that have been in development for over 7 years. I'm looking at you, Star Citizen. Anyhow, let's get started because this game is an intense amount of fun. We're going to start off with the basic platform scenario. You can also do an abandoned mining station. Lots of people on YouTube have done that already, so I'll go with the basic platform. It's a little bit more challenging because you don't start off with a livable environment, which we'll get to in a little bit. Let's give this a name. Alright, let's get started. And you can select a peaceful, builder, medium, or harsh difficulty level. We're going to go with medium. Builder is a little bit too peaceful for my like. Peaceful is just kind of boring, and harsh is a little bit too intense for a tutorial slash beginner introduction into the series. So this shows what we start off with. We're going to have 4 crew members, which we will be able to pick. We're going to have a bunch of different blocks, some different items, some things in the start sector include derelicts, which are this. We have some carbon, ice, noble metals, and regular metals. And let's get started. So here are our crew, and I'm going to randomize some of them because it looks like we are low on the construction in the team skills and the medical in the team skills, as well as piloting. So we want a good pilot, which it looks like we have one guy that can pilot. But anyhow, I'm going to randomize these until we come up with a decent crew, and then I'll go over it to show you why I picked what I picked. Alright, so this is what I've come up with for some crew that we can use. After randomizing for quite some time, this is what we have. So we have our first guy, which is Jet, the pilot. He is a navigator, and he is iron-willed, which means he doesn't surrender as easily. He's unfortunately not that brave, but he is intelligent, perceptive, and just a whole bunch of stats. And then we have our botanist. Well, they're going to be the person that's doing most of our botany, growing our plants for hydroponics and so on. And also they can do some mining and pretty good at industry too. And can do weapons and some navigation. And then we have Jasmine, the driller, who is our primary miner, can also do a little bit of botany, good at industry, and probably is going to be the person manning the ship guns. And then we have the guy who's going to be manning our actual weapons for boarding parties, which we will be doing a lot of. Also decent at constructing. The one thing that we don't have it right now is a really good person at medical, but hopefully we won't need that until we have some more crew. Anyways, so let's get started. So I'm going to pause right away, and this is kind of a tutorial. It'll tell you what to do to get started, but as you see, we just are in a little platform in the middle of space. People are wearing spacesuits because, as you will notice, if we look at our oxygen map, although there is oxygen in here, there is no oxygen generator. There is a heater over here. This is the power generator. This is some storage. This is an airlock. This is a little puddle jumper type shuttle, and these two things are actually used for mining and building the hull of your ship, and also doing some scavenging if you find ships to scavenge. And here are a couple of maps that we can look at. We have vents, which we don't have any right now, poisonous gas, which there is no hazardous gas right now. There's no smoke because nothing's on fire. The CO2 is relatively low because we're just starting off. And then this one shows the isolated areas, which will be good for future things. And here is our comfort map, and as you can see, it's very uncomfortable in here, which we will have to resolve. It's always important to have a comfortable area for your crew to live in, a barracks and a canteen, so to speak. The temperature is actually relatively cool right now, a cool and crisp 6 degrees Celsius, and for those of you who use the Imperial system, that's still pretty cold. That's probably what, like, I don't know, 40-something degrees Fahrenheit. It's chilly. And then we have our power grid, and as you can see, we have our generator right here, and then we have a couple of power nodes right here which spread the power around, and they are linked to our power generator. And you can create new nodes and link them around however you choose. However, first thing that we need to do, as the tutorial says, it says, well, number one, there's no place for people to sleep, and there's no tools facilities. That's the most important thing right now, because if nobody has any tools, well, they can't build anything. So we're going to build a tools facility. We're going to try to keep everything to this side, all of the industry to this side, so we can save this for our barracks, because we're going to give them a place to sleep and a place to poop and a place to eat. That's all very important. So let's place this right here. I think this is a good spot for it. And after that, well, let's get started on our canteen and our barracks. So our barracks, well, first off, let's start with the furniture, which is going to be the bunk beds. We have 4 people, so we're going to need at least 2. I'm going to save rooms that we can put a 3rd and possibly even a 4th bunk bed for future expansion. And let's get a wall going. And this will be more than enough room. We're going to need a power node. Okay. It says build an oxygen generator. Yes, we'll have to do that right away. Okay. And also, one thing that is very important is if you want comfort, you need lights. If you don't have lights, people are uncomfortable. So it's very important to put lights, especially in the areas where you want comfort. In your areas that are always going to be uncomfortable, yes, it's important for lights so that they can move around and whatnot, but it's not as important for comfort, because you're never going to make things that comfortable with lights unless it's in a comfort area. Alright, let's start off with life support. It said we need an oxygen generator and a gas scrubber. Let's see here. We're going to want... This is probably a good spot right here for now. And let's actually speed this up a little bit. We're also going to be building our canteen right now. Let's actually make it a small bit bigger than the barracks area, because we're going to want to fit some more things in there than just a table and whatnot. So let's put in a couch. Ooh, actually that is a bit too small. I'm going to pause and dismantle this, because I want it to be a little bit bigger, because we would like to put that entire table in there so everybody can sit and eat at the same time. Alright. And it says, oh, those objects are not on the power grid, which we will address in just a moment. In fact, let's just build everything without the walls right now, and we'll put the walls around it. Alright. So we have these in-floor power nodes, which are very convenient if you want people to be able to walk over them. And judging by the fact that I think we're going to have a doorway here, I think we're going to put our power node on the wall. Nope, I guess we'll do an in-floor power node right here. That's going to be right in front of the door, but it... well, no, let's not put it in front of the door. Let's put it right there. Okay. And yes, even for some odd reason, the seating needs power, but as you'll see, there's built-in lighting in the seating, so that would be why. Alright. Also, let's go to the facilities. We're also going to want a kitchen. And we're also going to build a wall around it. And maybe even extend this out as far as we can so we can put in a jukebox or something nice like that for the comfort of our crew. Alright, now we have this built. We can link up the power nodes. Right now you can see these power nodes are linked up. We can take this and we can link it like that, and then if we really wanted to, we could see if we could link it to this. It looks like this is within range, but there's no reason to, as there's not too much current being drawn right now. And in the future we're going to expand out our power nodes even further. Alright, let's build some lights in here. And we're probably going to want a power node over here because it looks like all these lights are currently unpowered. That ought to do just fine, and then we're going to probably want one over maybe here to cover the rest of the ship. And let's put a jukebox over here. And an arcade machine. And that ought to increase the comfort drastically. Alright. It says ship storage is full, object not on power grid, which we are addressing right now. And power not linked. Alright, let's take care of that. Let's link that up. And select this and link that up. Alright, everything should be powered now. Ah, there you go. We will also want a toilet because people will poop their pants if they... I'm not even joking. They will poop their pants if they don't have a toilet. Also, another nice thing that toilets do is over time they will produce water because they kind of filter out the waste and produce water that way. So, let's put in a door here and another wall there. In addition, let's put in a light. Also, one nice thing is there are vents in these doors. In fact, if we go now to the vents, you'll see that these have vents which allow gases from the oxygen generator and the CO2 scrubber to flow in the doors. However, we can also shut them off if perhaps we have a breach of the hull and you don't want the gases escaping. So this is kind of our most protected room right there because it takes two. Well, if this room were to vent, it takes another breach of the canteen before this loses oxygen. However, it is also possible for them to just, you know, break through the walls, but we'll get to that in due time. Alright, there we go. We have a toilet, and what else? We need a tools facility, which we already... No access to tools facility. I'm pretty sure there is. Well, if they say there's no access, we can move it. I mean, there really should be. There's no reason that... Nothing that's blocking it right now, but... we will set it somewhere else. Oh no, someone's using it. I don't know why it was saying it was blocked. Alright. Build a thermal regulator, which is basically one of those. They want us to build another one, even though we really don't need to. We'll build one and mount it to the wall over here. And that will keep this area nice and warm, as well as the bedrooms. So let's take a look and see what is the temperature right now. Whoop. It's around 20 degrees Celsius, which is about where we want it. That's about 60-something degrees Fahrenheit. And so this is a little bit chillier in here, so if we build the thermal regulator in here, that will fix that right up. And one thing that we can do is if it's taking a while to build something that we want, we can tell it to have a high construction priority. And it will get built a little bit faster. Hey, and speaking of priorities, one thing we can do is go into our crew management and dictate what we would like our people to do. So, Judging by this, we have two people who are good at piloting and navigating, so we'll have this person be our pilot. It appears that they're pretty useless at everything else, so we're going to have them do logistics, which is just moving around crates and that sort of thing, as their number one. Other than that, we can also have them do some mining. I can do some maintenance, but I'm going to keep that to low because I can start things on fire, which is, quite frankly, really annoying and dangerous. And we'll have them construct things too. They can do botany from time to time. And you are our botanist, so please do that. You are our constructor and our maintenance personnel. You are our industry person as well as our miner. You are also our miner and industry. And what are we lacking right now? Let's see here. You will be our gunner. Let's see here. You will be our shield operator because you are going to be our navigator. You are going to be our gunner. You are going to be our shields person. And as far as operations go, that really only leaves one person, which is this guy. And he is perfect for operations. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's getting built for some strange reason. We should have power on that, but if not, let's address that. Oh, it looks like it is just barely out of range, so I'm going to build another one right there. I'm actually just going to build a different thermal regulator, and I'm going to cancel that one. We'll just build it over in the bathroom, maybe? I suppose we can't put it there. There's a light. We'll just put it over here. And it looks like everyone is currently sleeping, so we'll speed up time while that's going on. And while they're sleeping, let's go through our systems. So we have our navigations, which right now we're currently set to on demand. We don't actually have a navigations console, a shields console, an operations console, or a turret right now, but when we do have those, we can set the priority, like if we wanted them to always be using them, or we can set it to a maximum priority, which means even if they're asleep, they'll go and man the turrets, shields, and so on. Alright, looks like people are out and about. Alright, now we can expand the hull, which is going to be fun. I'm going to slow down time a little bit. One thing that's going to be really difficult is people like nice and beautiful symmetrical spaceships. However, that is intensely difficult to do, but we're going to do our best to make it pretty. So we're going to first sketch out what we want. We're going to build a little bit forward, and then we're going to just kind of taper it down a little bit. And in the front of the ship, we're going to have our operations area, which is going to be like our cockpit. And we're also going to have a botany area as well. Not sure if we'll be able to fit the botany area in there. We'll probably just throw the botany area on the side. In fact, what we could do, I'm going to erase this sketch. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. We're going to build off to the side a little bit, and a little bit down as well. And we're going to use all this area in the future. And we're just going to... Here we go. This is what we're going to do. And that will probably use up the majority of our hull blocks. In fact, we may not be able to finish this all, but we'll get as much done as we can. One thing that we can do, let's zoom out. Looks like we have a spaceship over there. We can start mining some asteroids. Right now, we can't really use these base elements because we're going to need some systems, or rather some assemblers, refineries, and so on to break those materials down and turn them into something more useful. Specifically, the metal refinery is the first step that we're going to do, but we're going to follow the tutorial first before building all of this stuff. Anyways, we don't have room for it until we do expand the hull. Oh, looks like we can hook this up. Hook that up to there, and that up to there. Alright. Now let's take a look at our comfort. As you can see, this area is actually quite comfortable. Even the bedroom is comfortable. The toilet, not so much, but it's not terrible, whereas this is almost negative 198 comfort. So as you can see, not comfortable. One thing that is incredibly valuable early game and until we can make them are going to be what are called tech blocks and energy blocks. Those are the blocks that are hardest to come by, and you use them for absolutely everything. Also, they're really high up on the tech tree, so you need just about everything to make them. So if we ever come across a trader or any abandoned areas that have them, we're going to definitely want to scavenge both the tech blocks and the energy blocks. Also, another thing that we can probably build pretty soon is the recycler, because it looks like there's a derelict ship here, which we will explore. And once we explore it, we will be able to break down all of the valuable materials in it. Alright, so we are going to start building our ship. I sketched it out, but I never activated it. So let's do that. It looks like we're not going to be able to build it because our people are out mining right now, which is just fine. In fact, I'm just going to do a short little break, and we'll come back when everybody is done mining, and we'll catch up with you there. Alright, well, the ship isn't completely finished yet, but there's a couple of things that we can do. One thing that I would like to do is actually dismantle this wall and move this door over there so people don't have to go into the uncomfortable workshop area to use the bathroom. And as you can see, there's plenty of room here now. We also finished mining all of the asteroids, and all we have left to do is to explore the derelict ship and loot its resources. Once we finish building this, one thing that I'd like to explain is there's many different kinds of blocks in the game. We have, well, first off we have credits, we have our building tools, which we have something to do that already. We have water, which we will need to make a water generator eventually, once that starts getting low. We have energy rods, which are used to power things such as the reactor here. And then we have hyper fuel, which is used for fueling the hyperspace engines, which we will eventually put on this ship. Right now this ship is completely mobile and can't go into hyperspace, and that is the fuel for it. And these hull blocks are used for, well, creating the hull, and it looks like we're probably going to run out of hull blocks before this is entirely finished. Yeah, it looks like we're at 0, so whatever finishes, and we'll have to create new hull blocks to finish the ship. And infra blocks are used for all sorts of different things. It's used in just about everything. In fact, if we look, let's just take a look at resources. That uses infra blocks, that uses infra blocks, that uses infra blocks. All of these use infra blocks. And they're a very common resource and very easy to create. Tech blocks are used for just about any system. As you can see, there are quite a few used in each system, and we only have 17, so we're going to have to use them sparingly. And even the pod hangers and whatnot also use the tech blocks. And it looks like everybody's gone back to sleep. Our new thing to do right now is to build grow beds, which is basically, we're going to start our hydroponics. So, let us create a couple of grow beds. Let's put one here and one here. We'll turn this into our hydroponics area. Let's put a wall over here. And we'll also put a wall here. Looks like we can plant some crops, but right now we're not going to plant crops because we need to finish our hydroponics. And actually slow down time just a hair. One thing we're also going to want to do is have a CO2 producer because the crops are going to need CO2. And speaking of which, because we're going to be creating CO2, we don't want it to leak out into the rest of the spaceship, so we're going to close the vent. And we're also going to see if we can throw in maybe another grow bed here. Yeah, we might be able to fit another grow bed in there. Let's see what the temperature situation is here. It's relatively cold, so we're going to want to put in a thermal regulator because it's kind of chilly in here. And we also need a power source for everything. Looks like this will cover most of it, but not that. So let's put one in there as well. And we can create some lights. And once we have that finished, we'll be able to plant some crops. In fact, we might be able to plant some crops right away. Let's link that up to here. This one we will link up to... yeah, let's link it up to there. Alright, so this is ready for action. So we're going to take some fruits, plant it there. We're going to take some root vegetables, plant them here. Okay, now we want a water purifier. Absolutely, we're going to run out of water if we don't add that. And then we're going to add some artificial meat. And in here we're going to add some plant fibers, and the fibers are used for creating soft materials, such as couches, beds, and other things that require these soft materials. Alright, let's build the water purifier. I like to put it near our hydroponics area because the hydroponics use an entirely too much water, so that ought to be close enough. And how we make purified water is you take ice blocks, which we have 9 of, and it breaks it down into water. And usually you get, I don't know the exact ratio, but you get quite a few water jugs from one ice block. Alright. We have critically low hull blocks. We need a recycler right now, which is absolutely correct. Once we have a recycler, we can actually make more hull blocks once we start breaking down the ship that is derelict over there. Let's find a good spot for it. I think this is going to be a nice workshop area, so I'm going to... I know this is kind of blocking off the hallway, but we'll have a singular hallway coming down here. And we want it pretty close to all of our storage, which it's relatively close to. And now that everybody's doing this, I'm actually going to pause it. We're going to draft them, and we're actually going to tell them to pick up some weapons. Let's see what your skills are. You are really good at weapons, so we are going to have you take the shotgun. And you can undraft, and everybody else can just get a pistol, except for I know one of them is incapable of actually shooting. And they will get nothing. You get nothing. Alright, let's undraft them. Let's have you guys pick stuff up. Jasmine, you can have a gun, which means I'm guessing the other one, Katniss, probably is incapable of shooting stuff. Let's take a look. Skills. Oh no, you can actually shoot things too, so my mistake. Yep, that's telling us to get the derelict ship. So you come over here. And, oh, you have a gun too. So who's the one that's missing it? You have a gun, you have a gun, you have a gun, and... Oh, Jasmine does not have a gun. Come over here, Jasmine. Katniss, you don't need to be over here. Come here. And let's give you a gun. Put it into your primary, and undraft you. Alright, it's pretty late at night, so we're going to explore the derelict after they go to sleep. And right now, while they are sleeping, we're going to set up a build to basically, anytime we have soft scrap, infra scrap, hull scrap, energy scrap, and tech scrap, we're going to break it down. There's no reason to not break down that stuff. So, soft scrap, if you have it, it gives you part of a soft block. Infra scrap gives you infra blocks. Hull scrap gives you hull blocks. Energy scrap, however, gives you infra blocks and also energy rods. And tech scrap gives you infra blocks and a little bit of electrical components. So let's do this to continuous. So whenever we have the scrap, we will turn it into useful blocks. Alright, looks like everybody's just kind of mulling around right now, so we're going to draft you all. Tell you to get in the little craft over here, and we're going to take a gander in what's inside the derelict over there. So we're going to dock, select the docking port, accept, and fly on over. Going to select our craft. Once it's done, we're just going to eject everyone out. And here we are in our first derelict. Unfortunately, not all derelicts, in fact, most derelicts cannot be added to your fleet. However, if you do come across some, they can be added to your fleet, and they will look a little bit different, and you'll know that they can be added to your fleet. And yes, I did say fleet. You can have more than one ship, which is incredibly useful later in the game. Early in the game, it's really just one ship is just fine. However, later in the game, you are almost going to definitely want more than one ship, perhaps one gunship and one ship for producing things, or whatever you decide. And yes, as you can see, there are some alien bugs in here. Luckily, because this is the tutorial, they're not too terribly hard to kill. But they can be later in game. And also, just to show people, nope, no oxygen on board, and it's intensely cold. Well, actually, it's not cold here. Well, that's surprising, considering there is no atmosphere. That must be because it's exposed to space. But yeah, it's very cold in there. What you doing there, buddy? Panicked? Oh, okay. Katniss is apparently not one to... Oh, are you all drafted? Still? Oh, you should be drafted. There we go. Katniss does not appear to be drafted anymore. Are you freaking out? Yeah, you're freaking out. You don't want to be here. Sorry. Yeah, some people, they tend to freak out a little bit easier and you can't control them. So she's probably not going to be one for our boarding parties anymore. Alright, so we explored the ship. We're going to undraft, and we're going to undraft that. Alright, it tells us to build a hull stabilizer now, but first, we're going to take everything, select all. Looks like there's even some human meat. Disgusting, but you can eat it in a pinch. But what we're going to do is actually just sell it, because disgustingly some people buy human meat. And we're going to transfer it all to our ship. And we're also going to salvage all of the scrap from this ship. And that's about all we're going to do. I'm going to catch back with you guys as soon as we made some progress here, because this is just going to take some time as we burn the midnight oil and break down that ship. So I'll catch back with you guys in a little bit. Alright, well they are almost finished up here. As you can see, the salvages, there's a little bit of infra scrap left, hull scrap is low, and almost everything else is low. And they basically picked everything clean. There's not much left. I think there's a wall heater there, but they will get that all. And in the meantime, let's take a look at our ship. One thing that I noticed is we are probably going to need to manufacture some hull blocks, because if we look under system, the hyperdrive requires 4 hull blocks, and well, we have none. And we only have 1 hull scrap, and I don't think we're getting much more. So one thing that we can do, well, first things first, we'll build a hull stabilizer because it's telling us to, but we can also go to the resources and build a metal refinery, because we have what it takes to refine metal, which would be carbon and base metals. So we can build a metal refinery. Let's place this over here. And another thing that we can do is we can build a basic assembler, which will allow us to build those components. And we have enough to do this. We have all of the infra blocks we need, and we have the tech blocks. But after this, our blocks are going to be running drastically low, and we're going to have to do some scavenging and trading to get what we need. However, we should be able to get out of this system, no problem. Alright, the hull stabilizer looks like it's being built. And we will need to, of course, add some power. Let's see. I could put it right there. We're going to want to put some engines in here, so we're going to leave some room for that. One thing that we can do while everybody is going to sleep is we can customize the look of some of these rooms. So if we go to Edit and then go to Style, we have all these different styles to choose from, different wall types, different floor types. And let's take a look at the bedroom. I actually like the way the bedroom is, except we'll give it a tile floor. Let's take a look. This kind of looks like an engineering place, so let's give it an engineering look. And there's just all sorts of different ones we can use, just to kind of show what we can do. Unfortunately, we are missing a wall right there, so let's build that. Otherwise, it's going to just think this is all one room. Alright, I should put a wall there. Kind of missing a spot there. That's probably why we have some CO2 leakage, maybe? No, it doesn't look like we do, actually. Alright, now we should be able to do these styles without any hindrance. Let's give this that style, and let's put this one back to this. See if we can have one with a different flooring. That looks okay. And maybe something like that in that room. And oh, I just realized we have our first fire. Where is the fire? Looks like somebody put it out already. It's in the kitchen, I believe. That's right. I took out the wall there so I could put in a door, and I never put in the door. I better do that. And now you see people walking around with their spacesuits because of smoke, I believe. Actually, the fire was over here. But for the most part, the smoke has dissipated. It's right next to the gas scrubber, so that should help with that matter. Let's link up the power. And now we should be able to use this. Let's set our... let's make some steel plates. Let's set our bills. Let's see here. If less than, say, 10. Nah, let's make it 15. You can make some steel plates. And if the soft... Well, we don't really care about soft blocks right now because we're going to get a lot of those through recycling and scavenging. But if the hull blocks are less than, say, 15... we'll make some. If the infra blocks are less than 15, we'll make some. However, we don't have any electronic components, but we don't need to worry about that for now because we're getting infra blocks from scavenging right now. Ooh, looks like we have insufficient resources to repair. Oh no, wait, that's not to repair. That's just for breaking stuff down, which is just fine. Kind of wondering what is that right there. Is that just like bug meat maybe? Could be. Alright, let's take a look at the ship. Looks like it's... yeah, this is what a fully stripped out ship will look like. There's nothing left for us to salvage or transfer. And as you can see, we have not finished building the ship. Alright, it says build a hyperdrive and navigation console. So let's get started with that. We're going to need some hull blocks for that, but we can at least place down where we would like them. Let's place it... well, for now, because I kind of am in a pickle for room, I'm just going to kind of slap it right here, and then eventually we will extend out the ship and make it a little more symmetrical looking. But for now, this will unfortunately... oh, not even that will do. Not until that's finished being made. Let's see if we can't finish that. Alright, almost done. Just a couple more. Oh, so close. We'll put it there for now. And let's also start building our bridge, which we will place up here. It looks like it's actually pretty chilly. Ooh, losing some power by the looks of it. We might have to improve our power situation when we have the resources to do so. Let's see, this is going to be a nice navigation bridge area. Ooh, as you can see, it's getting really cold. Ooh, he is stuck in there, so let's dismantle that so he can get out. And put a door in there. And this kind of speckled area is just showing that it's getting really cold. It's -7 degrees in there, so yeah, pretty chilly, if I would say so myself. We'll probably want to put a heater in there. Alright, our navigation console will slap in the middle of the ship. That looks pretty middle to me. And let's give it some light as well. Give it a wall light. And we're also going to need some power up there, as there is none right now. And we're currently making stuff so that we can make our hull blocks. One thing that ooh, it looks like we have an incoming ship. We'll be able to trade with them. One thing I never did was set up a bill for refining water. I'm just going to do it continuously because if we have ice blocks, the only thing you can turn ice blocks into is water, so you might as well do it continuously. Alright, cool. We have our first hyperdrive, even though it's not necessarily where I want it, and it's going to look weird, but we'll adjust things in the future to make it look a little bit nicer. Place that there. And maybe place that there. Alright. Alright, so now we have our power hooked up. We should probably hook up this power too. Alright, we have everything we need. Oh, looks like, never mind. They want us to build an operations console. However, we can still trade with them without it. And as you can see, they have some tech blocks. Very valuable stuff, so I'm going to do what I can to trade that. I don't know if there's anything I have. Well, they want some human meat. Please, take that off my hands. I don't want it. Give them some fiber. That's easy and renewable for us, at least. Food is also renewable, so let's give them some food. Well, that's about it, so let's get some tech blocks from them. Nope, we can only get one, but one is better than nothing. And even an energy block would be nice. Ooh, guess I can't. Well, we'll do that as one trade, and we'll have a new trade where we give them one food. Soft blocks are easy to come by for us, so let's give them all of the soft blocks we can. And also try to get some more tech blocks. Well, a tech block is better than nothing. Anything else we can give them that we can easily part with? Well, we don't really need noble metals right now. And neither do we need IV bags, because we don't have a medical bed. So let's part with a couple of IV bags. By the time we have a medical bed, we will be able to make that IV fluid. And the more tech blocks we have, the sooner we get there. Oh yeah, look at that. Let's see here. Let's bring one of those back. I guess we'll deal with 5. Alright. And let's also build an operations console. You find that under System, Operations Console. Ooh, it does look like it requires a soft block. Oh well, we can make that. I don't think I sold all of them either. Just a couple. And it looks like that heater is starting to heat this place back up. What's the temperature in here? Yep. A nice crisp 20 degrees or 60-ish Fahrenheit. And as you can see around the generator, it tends to get a little bit warmer, so you don't even need the thermal generator in here. I might be able to move this to, say, a corner where it's a little bit colder, because the generator will keep the rest of this area warm. Alright. While we're waiting for that, actually, once we have our operations console, we can actually get moving, because there's nothing else to do here, and we have everything that we need to get going. So once the trades are finished, too. And here is what the ship is that popped into the system, and it has a railgun on it, and it has shields. It is part of the military alliance, and by the way, you can attack and board any of these ships if you like. It's just at this point in time I would fail miserably, so we're not going to do that. So what do we need yet? We need an infra block, and that's it. We have the infra block, it just needs to be delivered. Oh, there it goes. The more tech blocks, the merrier. That's what I say. Alright, now we can do a hyperspace jump. So, I think let's do that. We're going to tell the person to get on navigations and prepare for a hyperspace jump. And when we prepare for hyperspace jump, all of our shuttles become locked in their places, because we don't want them floating out in space gathering stuff and then us leaving them behind. And looks like Jet is taking care of this for us. I'm actually going to put this just to regular. And let's jump. Only one place to jump to, so let's go there. And it looks like there's Hyperium, a derelict, and some carbon. Hyperium is used for hyperspace fuel, so very useful stuff here. And another derelict. Let's see, where do we want to deploy to? I would say right here is nice, where it's in the middle of everything, pretty close to the derelict, and that should be good. And now the very next thing to do is to build a sleep chamber, which is not going to happen for a while yet, because we have an entire system to explore before we jump to the next system, and these are all of the systems that we can explore, and each one of these systems has lots of little planets and asteroids and stuff to visit, so there's plenty to do, and the further you get in here, the harder and harder and harder and harder and harder it gets. So this one's easy peasy, this one about the same. This starts to get a little bit harder and harder, and then by the time you reach here, you better have 2 ships, otherwise you're going to be hurting. So, alright, I think that's enough for this episode. Thank you folks for watching, and I will see you folks next time.